Mel, why is it so hard to make friends as we get older?
There is a massive shift that happens in adult friendship when you hit 20 that nobody sees coming. The rules of friendship completely change when your 20s hit. And I'm going to explain the rules when you're little, and then we're going to talk about the rules of adult friendship. So when you're little, your entire life is organized around friendship and making it possible because you're with people your age all the time in class and sports.
So true.
You move in groups because you're on teams and you're in neighborhoods and you're always together. You also celebrate the same milestones. You're hitting the same birthdays. You're all talking about the next level of school or this thing this summer. You're watching the same movies because you're all the same age. And so there's so much synergy and relevance, and the conditions to spend a ton of time together are there. Then you get to university and you spend even more time together. And what happens when you hit your 20s, right, is that it moves from this big group sport where you just kind of expect to be around your friends all the time. You expect the group to get invited because that's what's always happened. You expect to see them all the time because you do always see them all the time. But then your 20s hit, the rules change, and what I call the great scattering happens. Everybody moves in different directions. And friendship goes from group sport to individual sport. You can no longer expect friendship. You are no longer part of a group that is expected to be invited everywhere because everybody scatters. And suddenly everybody's on different timelines. You're in different cities. You're moving in different directions. So there's no way to locate yourself inside your friend group. And the only thing that's keeping you together from your friends from you were little is a text chain that starts to go quieter and quieter and quieter as people start to focus on the people in front of them. Mm-hmm. And that brings me to two major shifts that I want you to embrace using the let them theory. Number one, you can no longer expect friendship. You have to take a way more flexible approach and a more proactive approach. You got to let people come and go. Mm-hmm. Super important. And then you got to let me take the actions to create the friendships. I got to go first. I got to be the one planning. I got to seek out new people. But there are three pillars of adult friendship based on research that are also going to help you understand that when people come and go in your life, 99% of the time, it's not personal. And you actually haven't lost them as a friend. Mm. One of the three pillars is missing. So the three things that need to be required to have a friendship happen are the same three things that were around all the time when you were a kid. Number one, proximity. Proximity matters tremendously. Proximity means who are you actually physically next to? In fact, they've done research, Jay. If you and I were in a dorm and we lived across the hall, I don't remember the percentages exactly, but it's like 90% chance we're going to be friends.
Interesting.
The poor person at the end of the hallway, 10% chance that we're going to be friends with them because of proximity. Even a matter of 50 feet makes a difference. And so when you were little, you were in proximity to people your age all the time.
All day.
Exactly. The research also shows that to have, as an adult, a kind of casual friend, you need to spend approximately 70 hours with somebody. Mm-hmm. To have a close friend, 200 hours. Mm-hmm. So when you're an adult, that creates a big problem because who are you spending all your time with once you're 20? The American Times study shows that it's with people you work with. So why aren't we best friends with people at work? Because you have proximity and you're spending a lot of time together. But here's the thing, timing. Mm. When you were little, you were in the same timing of life with everybody.
Yeah.
When you hit your 20s and it's now individual, everybody's on different timelines. Some of your friends are getting married. Some are going to graduate school. Some are now pursuing jobs. Other people are moving out of the city, into the city. Everybody's timing is now different. And this also explains why you're almost never best friends with people at work because the timing is off. You're sitting next to people that are in very different times of their life. You may like them a lot and you may be friends, but you never spend time outside of work because they're at home with their family and you're going out with your buddies your age on the weekends. And then that brings me to the third thing that needs to be present for a friendship to truly click, and that's energy. Mm. And the thing about energy is it changes. And you can have fantastic energy with somebody, and then if you decide you're not drinking anymore, the energy's off.
Yeah.
If you decide to get really focused on fitness, the energy's off. If you have very different political beliefs, the energy's off. It's not personal. Mm. It's one of these three pillars. And it has helped me so profoundly, Jay, to realize that people come and go and it's a beautiful thing and you should let them.
Mm.
And you should really, if you have a friendship that starts to dissipate, right? Ask yourself before you blame them or you blame you, are any one of these three pillars missing? Are we not near each other anymore? Is the timing of our lives off? Is there just something about the energy that hasn't clicked? Because you can't force those things. But what I've found is that when you recognize that those are really important factors to your connection to someone else, that if a friendship starts to fade, for me, it's so easy to say, let them. And I don't wish anybody bad. I literally wish people well. Because the other thing that I've learned, and, being 56, I've had a lot of friends come and go in different phases of my life, that you would be startled by how many people from your past that you no longer, quote, consider friends because you haven't seen them in a very long time or things just got weird. If you actually called them, they'd pick up the phone.
They would.
If you texted them, the research shows that when you get a surprise text from somebody that you haven't heard from in a long time, the amount of joy that you feel. And so I want you to consider, if you're very lonely right now, that there's actually probably hundreds of people from your past that still consider you a friend.
Mm-hmm.
And if you take the approach that I'm talking about, which is friendship is your responsibility, you need to go first. Let me create the friendship and the connection that I want. And you can start by literally taking a look through your past and thinking about people that you remember fondly and just sending them a text. And you will be startled by what comes back because they're there. They haven't actually gone anywhere. The connection is still there. And oftentimes, even if you've had somebody where something's been off, again, let them and wish them well. And there will be a time, I promise you, where the timing or proximity or energy comes back around again.
Yeah, and often you're so right. As I'm listening to you talk, I'm just thinking of how conscious we have to be with all of our relationships, the ones that matter to us, the ones that we want to invest in. And it's what you said. We were actually dealt such a tough card in the fact that basically from the moment you joined school at 4 till the moment you were 21, if you went to college, you basically didn't have to make really any major decisions or think about the next step because you went from 7th grade to 8th grade to 9th grade to whatever it is.
Right.
And so then all of a sudden you're in the world at 21 or 18 if you didn't go to college. And you all of a sudden now have to figure out what to do for the next 50, 60 years.
Yeah. All structure of your life just evaporates.
Just disappears.
It's the hardest decade of your life.
There is no structure and it makes no sense. And as I'm hearing you talk, it sounds like to me that it would have been harder to watch your daughter have to practice the let them theory than it is for you to practice the let them theory.
Yes.
When she was going through her breakup. Would you say that's in your deep vicinity of people that you're close with, the hardest way you've had to practice the let them theory?
Yes. The hardest way is when you recognize the potential in somebody and you see them struggling. And when you recognize that somebody that you love deeply is in pain. When you're saying let them, you're not abandoning somebody. You're actually recognizing their ability to meet these difficult moments in their life with you by their side. And I think when I think about supporting versus enabling, because the more you kind of step in and rescue people from their feelings or from the consequences of their decisions or their inaction, the more people continue to drown in their problems. I really believe that.
I do too. I really believe that.
And it's a very, very difficult balance because you're going to hit your frustration and rock bottom and worry with somebody before they do. And somebody said something in the addiction community. I can't remember who said this, but it just is so true that somebody only gets sober when getting drunk is harder than facing the thing that they don't want to face.
Mm-hmm.
And the same is true with anything, like really motivating yourself to get in better shape, recognizing that you have a pattern of dating people that are emotionally abusive and taking a break and really digging deep into the issue that keeps coming up for you. That's really hard. Mm-hmm. That's why we avoid it.
Yeah.
And so when you see somebody that you know is capable or who deserves better, wanting that for them is a form of loving them. I like, you should want the people in your life that you care about to be doing better. And I hate seeing somebody with so much potential squandering it.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I'm going to come back to something that I learned from Dr. Stuart Ablon at Mass General Hospital. People do well when they can. And I want you to start to assume that if somebody in your life is not doing well, or if they're going through a challenge, there is a skill that's missing, or there is emotion that needs to be processed, or there is pain that needs to be felt before they can galvanize the ability to do the very difficult work to change. And in the case of watching my daughter go through this heartbreak, I mean, I literally found myself, Jay, wanting to text, her boyfriend and her boyfriend's mother, like, hey, maybe we can, like, just because I want to fix it. But when you step in and fix it, you literally demean someone else. Because I do know that she has the ability to move through this. And so the way that I love thinking about support is this way. The next time you have somebody in your life who is truly struggling, whether it's in school or in relationships or with an addiction, I want you to think, how can I create an environment that supports their healing? Not stepping in and doing it. It's rarely an issue of will. Like, it's not willpower for people or the desire. It's actually more about skill and the ability and need to process things and do it on their own timeline, right? So how can you create an environment for that to happen? And for me, it meant removing any imagery. It meant letting her stay up in her bedroom and every once in a while knocking on the door and being like, do you need anything? And allowing her to be in her pajamas for 4 days and be in a depressive state. Because guess what? Being in a depressive state and falling on the floor and crying, it's a sign she's mentally well. That's what you do. It's a sign that you're okay. Yes. It would be scary if she wasn't feeling anything. And then when you're ready, you kind of put your arm around people. And so how can you do this? Like when she was born, actually, Sawyer, I had severe postpartum depression, Jay. I had a very traumatic delivery, lost a lot of blood, and I just was so out of it that they put me on these drugs that turned me into a zombie. I couldn't breastfeed her. I wasn't allowed to be alone with her. I missed the first 3.5 months of her life. And nobody asked me if I needed help. They showed up and created an environment where I could get better. I had my parents drive out and just stay, and they just did laundry and they cleaned and they did what needed to be done. And people who are struggling, they don't even know what they need. And so don't ask somebody what you can do. Find something you can do. Show up with a meal. Walk into your brother's bedroom and pull open the curtains in the morning when he's struggling with depression so the sunlight comes in. Create a playlist for somebody. Pick them up. Like, don't say you want to meet at yoga. Say, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to come over on Saturday and pick you up, and we're going to go to that yoga class. Or I'm going to come over on Sunday and I'm going to watch the kids and the dog so you can go to the park and read a book for 2 hours. That's how you create an environment for someone else to get better. And the other way that you do it is, instead of judging, you're going to let them be who they are. You're going to let them struggle. And then you're going to use this technique that's incredibly effective. I labeled it the ABC so that I could remember it. First, you're going to apologize. So let's talk about, like, this is an issue I had with our son. He didn't seem motivated. So I would constantly be like, why aren't you motivated? Why don't you study hard? Why are you doing this? It didn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
No. And so I finally, you're going to apologize. I'm sorry I'm pressuring you. I'm sorry I'm questioning you. And then you're going to ask an open-ended question. How do you feel about this issue? And it doesn't matter what they say, because you're probably asking for the first time how they actually feel about the issue. And then you're going to ask a really important question. You're going to ask, well, what would you like to do about it, if anything? And their answers don't matter, because what you're doing by apologizing is you're removing the pressure that you're bringing. And now by asking these questions, and I like to do this in a car, Jay, because they're trapped and because you're both looking ahead, so it's not as confrontational. And there's something in the science around forward ambulation and the movement that actually opens up your thinking. And then you ask, what do you want to do about it, if anything? And what happens is you're now revealing this tension, because people that are stuck know it. People that are struggling know it. People who are failing at school know it. Nobody wants to fail. It's not like people are trying to be depressed. It's not like people are trying to be very unhealthy. People know when they're letting themselves go. You don't need to remind them. But have you ever asked them, what would you like to do about this, if anything? What happens in that question, whether they answered or not, is that friction between what they know to be true about what they desire and where they actually are rises up. That is the organizing, intrinsic motivation that somebody needs to want to do better. Mm-hmm. And then you got to do B, back off. That's the hard part. Let them, let me shut up. Let them, let me not roll my eyes. And people need space to have it be their idea. And I'll give you a quick example. I used to be the kind of person that would eat lunch and work on my computer. I'm like tapping on my computer, shoving a sandwich down my throat, right? And there would be this colleague that would stand up and go for a walk most days. And every time she came back, she'd have a smile on her face and she'd take her earbuds off and she'd then get back to work. And this would go on for weeks. And then finally one day, Jay, I look up outside and it's a nice day and I think I'm going to go for a walk. Now, here's the interesting thing. I didn't credit her. I thought it was my idea. Her example influenced my desire to do it. The people that you are close to need enough distance from you. This is why you have to back off for that friction.
Yeah.
And that stirring to sit with them in order for them to feel safe, mm-hmm. to be able to take the step forward. And then you better keep backing off, because you do not want to be like, oh, I saw you didn't mentor your test. Like that's no. And so you keep going, let them. And then the C part is any small thing, you celebrate it in a non-passive aggressive way. And you actually model the change. You can't ask somebody to stop drinking while you're pouring yourself a glass of wine.
For sure.
You can't ask somebody else to get healthy if you're sitting on the couch eating chips. So you model the change and make it easy, just like my colleague did with the walk. And just like you and I constantly buy things online because it looks so easy and fun, your behavior and backing off and that tension inside them actually creates the space for somebody to truly want to change. Mm. And that's how it's done.